So we will be starting lesson 3. I'll give you about a week to get this done. It's going to take a little bit longer than the last one, and it starts on page 191, and it's due Sunday, April 26th by 11:30 p.m. I'm in the process of making the videos, but this will be filled in week 15. But here's the links to the book. I would maybe, you can download this and then email it to yourself and then open it up on your phone that way. Or log into Brightspace using your phone, whichever way you want to get that PDF on your phone or tablet. It helps to have a second screen. So here's Animate right here. I'm going to click on this. Hopefully it works. I updated it. Well, here's the book, but I don't need that open. Got a couple different things open here. So Animate should be updated. I'll open it. Not sure what this is. I'm just going to take it out of there. I think maybe that was the old version of it that I had on my computer. So now that I updated it, it should exactly match what you guys have, hopefully, because the last video I made, it didn't exactly match, which was kind of not the best. I had to actually go into my office and use the internet connection there. I think I'm just going to say no. So I will show you the next thing. So Electronic Design 1, Adobe Animate, lesson 3. So I think the end file, I'll just show you what we're going to be making. So it's just kind of, it's hard to see, but I'll play it again. So there's these fades. These trucks come in and some of this moves around. So that's kind of what we're going to be working on. I will put these files in here that you need to start the lesson. I will do that today. So it's trying to walk me through some things. I'm not going to do that right now. Okay, so in this lesson, we will animate the position, scale, and rotation of objects using motion tweening, adjust the pacing and timing of your animation, animate transparency and filters, change the path of an object's motion, create a nested animation, split a motion tween, change the easing of an object's motion, and animate in a 3D space. This lesson takes a little bit longer. It takes about 2 hours to complete. And I will include those lessons, the lesson files for this lesson 3 in Brightspace for you guys to download and use. So let's get started. So we are supposed to download this o3start.fla file. So we'll go into Brightspace in the content area of week 15, and we'll go to o3start and download that. It's going to go into our downloads folder on our computer. And then we can just do here, probably open, and then just navigate to downloads and open up that file. So this is a ActionScript 3.0 document that is partially completed. It contains many of the graphic elements imported into the library for you to use. So if we go to the library, we can see all the stuff that's in here all ready for us to use. And at the end, I think we'll be, excuse me, exporting an MP4 video file. Okay. The directions in the book say go to View, Magnification, Fit in Window. So we can see the entire stage, which is this area, on our computer screen. So we'll do a file save as. And I don't want to be in my downloads folder. I want to actually save this in my documents under my Electronic Design 1 folder. I already have lesson 1 here, but I can make a new folder, name it lesson 3. Create that folder, and then we'll rename this. We're going to rename it O3 working copy. So O3 underscore working copy. And we want to keep that .fla file extension on there, and then just make sure it's on the FLA, which it already was, and just push save. And then the book kind of goes on to talk about animation and how it's the movement or change of objects through time. And it can be as simple as a ball moving across the stage from one frame to the next. It can also be more complex. You can change an object's position, color, transparency, size, rotation. You can animate the filters. You also have control over object's path of motion, and even its easing, which is the way an object accelerates or decelerates. In Animate, the basic workflow or animation goes like this. Select an object on the stage, create it, and create motion tween, so you above the timeline. Move the playhead to a different point in time and move the object to a new position or change one of its properties. Animate takes care of the rest by smoothly interpolating the changes between the 2 points in time. So basically, you pretty much just create a tween by selecting the object, making sure that Animate knows you're creating a motion tween, and then moving the timeline in the timeline so if you had a ball over here, you would create a motion tween with a beginning frame and then an end frame, and then it would automatically move it across the stage for you. If that makes any sense. It's kind of hard to explain without actually doing it, so we'll actually be doing that later in as we move through the chapter. And the term tween comes from classic animation. So a little bit of information on animation and motion tweens and easing, which is the way an object accelerates or decelerates. So we'll be going through that in greater detail in this exercise. So don't worry if you don't completely understand. I didn't do a great job of paraphrasing, but there was quite a few. If you're confused, just read it in the book. It might help clear up some of the confusion for you. So if we take a look at this file, we look at the layers down here, we can see there's a car folder. So there's the middle car, right car. The actors folder has man, woman in it, which already has some keyframes with, I think, some motion already in there. And we'll be adding more layers to create an animated cityscape. We'll add a third car, 3D title, later on in this lesson. So we'll be starting with animating position. So we'll start by animating the cityscape. It will begin slightly lower at the top edge of the stage and then rise slowly until its top is aligned with the top of the stage. So we'll lock all the layers so we don't accidentally modify them, and we'll create a new layer above the footer layer and name it City. So let's see here. Lock all the layers and then hit the new layer button right here. We can move it above footer. I don't want it to be there. We don't want it indented. And then we'll name it City. So we'll double click City. Okay, and then we can click out of it to make it stick. So we want to be on the city layer, have that highlighted, and then we'll drag the bitmap image called Big City JPEG in the library panel. So let's see if we can find that. Here it is. So we'll just drag it in. So we drag that onto the stage. In the properties panel, set the value of X to 0. So we'll go back to properties. We still have this highlighted. X should be 0. Push enter. And the Y value should be 90. Push enter. This positions the landscape just slightly below the top edge of the stage. I think that's looking about right. Select the cityscape image. Just make sure I think it's already selected. And then choose Create Motion Tween above the timeline, or right click. I might do a right click, so Control click. And then Create Motion Tween. Hopefully this works. Right here. So it'll pop up a dialog box telling us it's not a symbol yet. Motion tweens require symbol. Click OK. All right. So Animate automatically converts your selection to a symbol at this stage. And the default name would be symbol 1. And it should be in our library, is what the footer said. So it's right here. Animate also converts the current layer to a tween layer so that you can begin to animate the instance. So their tween layers are distinguished by a special icon in front of the layer name. So I think it's this right here. And the frames are tinted gold in the timeline. The tween span is represented by all the colored frames in the first keyframe and the last keyframe. Tween layers are reserved for motion tweens, hence no drawing is allowed on a tween layer. So now we're supposed to move the playhead. I'm going to zoom out. We're supposed to move the playhead to frame 191, which I think it already is there. Here, let me zoom in a little bit. Oops. So we want that here. I think I'm on frame 191. I wonder if I should put it all the way at the end. I think that's okay. Select the instance of the cityscape on the stage. And while holding down the Shift key, move the instance up on the stage. Holding down the Shift key constrains the movement to the vertical or horizontal direction. For more precision, set the value of Y to 0 in the Properties panel. A small black diamond will appear in frame 199 at the end of the tween span. This indicates the keyframe at the end of the tween. So Animate will automatically change the position from frame 1 to frame 191 and change the position of this to move up, I believe. So we want to move it up. Ahead, push Shift, and just move this up to about right there, maybe. Properties panel, it said I can change this to Y. The Y to, let's see, what do they want it on? Y value to 0. So I guess that might have moved it. So it does move a little bit as we scrub through the timeline. So that did work for us. So basically we started with it on a certain keyframe at the beginning, and then we just add a motion tween, a tween layer or whatever. And then by the end of it, we tell it where we want it to, the position we want the city to move to, and Animate will automatically fill in the movement. You can kind of see the movement here with this little aqua colored thing. I'm running out of time on this video, so we'll continue in the next video.